Look at how cute he looks. Hey, welcome to Candid Travels, Texas. Welcome to Candid Travels, Texas. Today we're gonna do the poetry tactic. What does that mean? Listen to poetry once in a while. We're going to be headed to the Harry Ransom Center at the University of Texas at Austin, and we'll be listening to some poetry. It's good for your brain. Good morning. We can actually say good morning. Welcome to Candid Travels, Texas. All right, so it's like 5 minutes till noon on the 19th of August, right? No, September, the 19th of September. And we are near downtown at the University of Texas at Austin. We're traveling on foot, Wookiee of the year. Hey, to right there. That's the Harry Ransom Center at the University of Texas. That's the tower. And it's lunch hour, and instead of eating lunch, we're gonna feed ourselves poetry. So, you know, we try to push our eating further out, I guess. But we have actors from England, English actors that are gonna be reading poetry right across the street, right over there. And so that's the poetry tactic, right? Poetry tactic. It's good to listen to poetry. The meter, the rhythm and all of that. So it's good for your brain. All right, here we go. So it is September 19th, 2018, a Wednesday. We are like 4 minutes away from high noon. And here in Austin, people are doing their lunch hour. So this is lunch hour break for some poetry reading from actors from England. We have actors from England. Here we are. There's the Harry Ransom Center. We're not going to eat anything, I don't think. Here we are. We're waiting for things to say. We are actors from England. Poetry tactic. Here you are. Pretty good turnout. Yay. There goes the bell. It's exactly 12 o'clock. Here's the current exhibit, which is at Ed Ruscha, Archaeology and Romance. Free and open to the public. She's getting ready to read.
And I was watching him give a talk about his search for the lost vowel. He went into a room with a bunch of actor friends, and they all started searching for the missing vowel. They were convinced that there was one missing, and started making lots and lots of, for hours and hours and hours. And as he describes it, they went, both in that experience and during the war, they went through the wall, by which he sort of means the wall of what we think of as the South into what lies beyond. And once you're through that wall, he says, everything is either terrifying or hilarious. And because nothing really exists, and we might as well suppose that we are just jumping around for the entertainment of gods. And he would also go on to say that if there is no South, then and if it's all made up, then we have the opportunity to, as he calls it, to astound a self into being, to astound whatever kind of self we like into being. And he would often go around saying, so what are you going to do to astound yourself as self? Which I really like. And that took me back to one of my favourite pieces of Shakespeare, which I've longed to use as an audition speech, but never really got the opportunity. So I'll just dive straight into that. You'll probably recognise it. I have been studying how I may compare this prison where I live unto the world. And for because the world is populous, and here is not a creature but myself, I cannot do it, yet I'll hammer it out. My brain I'll prove the female to my soul the father, and these two beget a generation of still breeding thoughts. And these same thoughts people this little world in humours like the people of this world. For no thought is contented. The better sort, as thoughts of things divine, are intermixed with scruples, and do set the word itself against the word. As thus, come little ones, and then again. It is as hard to come as for a camel to thread the postern of a needle's eye. Thoughts tending to ambition, they do plot unlikely wonders, how these vain weak nails may tear a passage through the flinty ribs of this hard world, my ragged prison walls, and for they cannot die in their own pride. Thoughts tending to content, they flatter themselves that they are not the first of fortune's slaves, nor shall not be the last, like silly beggars, who sitting in the stocks refuge their shame, that many have, and others must sit there. And in this thought they find a kind of ease, bearing their own misfortunes on the back of such as have before endured the like. Thus play I in one person many people, and none contented. Sometimes am I king. Then treasons make me wish myself a beggar, and so I am. Then crushing penury persuades me I was better when king. Then am I kinged again, and by, think that I am unkinged by Bolingbroke, and straight am nothing, but whate'er I be, nor I, nor any man that but man is, with nothing shall be pleased, till he be eased, with being nothing. So that's Richard II in his prison. I'd like to contrast that with some Emily Dickinson. I'm nobody. Who are you? Are you nobody too? Then there's a pair of us. Don't tell, they advertise, you know. How dreary to be somebody. How public, like a frog. To tell one's name, the livelong due, to an admiring bog. So I began to notice this idea of nothing and something, or creation and destruction, or self and loss of self. It's a recurring obsession, obviously, for many writers throughout time. Julian Jaynes theorizes in his book, The Origin of Consciousness, that before the Odyssey was written, we were essentially non-selves, that people operated almost entirely from the right side of the brain in an almost dreamlike state of interconnected consciousness, or that hallucinated or really was seeing, if you like, to suppose that kind of thing, the gods themselves, who were operating as like puppets. But in the Odyssey, we have the invention of a hero unthinkable in the Iliad. So in the Iliad, where all of the heroes are sort of, the gods are always moving through them. They don't have any particular agency of their own. But Odysseus is a trickster who lies and deceives all his way over the Aegean, even attempting to trick his own watchful helper goddess Athena. And if we look to trace the moment where Odysseus is tricked to begin, it is at the moment, I think, where he names himself. If you don't know the story, Odysseus rocks up with his crew after the Trojan War. He meets a hungry Cyclops who starts eating his men, so he gets him drunk and blinds him to escape. In the getting him drunk bit, the Cyclops asks Odysseus what his name is. My name is Nobody, says Odysseus. And when he's being blinded horribly by a burning stake, Polyphemus, the Cyclops, cries out to his friends for help. Help, help me, nobody is killing me. And of course, nobody pays any attention. But at the very last minute, even after they've escaped, Odysseus cannot resist telling Polyphemus his real name. My name is not Nobody, he says. My name is actually Odysseus. And haha. And so he's cursed by Polyphemus, who happens to be the son of Poseidon, the god of the sea, who understandably then bears a massive grudge, and so begin Odysseus' 10-year troubles. And I think we still see this today, in story after story that really endure and grab our imaginations. Our superheroes must never be named or revealed. The Doctor in Doctor Who, for example, or Batman, Superman, Spider-Man, even if they have names, the tension of the story rests on their resistance to revealing themselves and on the interplay between their selfhood and the nothingness of their self. And then, of course, there are some writers who would suggest that these opposing poles have actually more in common than some would like to think, that maybe destruction and creation are interchangeably, are everlastingly interchangeable, or at least who would satirize those who think that they are not. This is some William Blake from A Marriage of Heaven and Hell. As I was walking among the fires of hell, delighted with the enjoyments of genius, which to angels looked like torment and insanity, I collected some of their proverbs, thinking that as sayings used in a nation mark its character, so the proverbs of hell show the nature of infernal wisdom better than any description of buildings or garments. When I came home, on the abyss of the five senses, where a flat-sided steep frowns over the present world, I saw a mighty devil folded in black clouds, hovering on the sides of the rock. And with corroding fires he wrote the following sentence, now perceived by the minds of men, and read by them on earth. How do you know? But every bird that cuts the airy way is an immense world of delight, closed by your senses 5. And he goes on to say, the ancient tradition that the world will be consumed in fire at the end of 6,000 years is true, as I have heard from hell. For the cherub with his flaming sword is hereby commanded to leave his guard at the tree of life, and when he does, the whole creation will be consumed, and appear infinite and holy, whereas now it appears finite and corrupt. This will come to pass by an improvement of sensual enjoyment. But first, the notion that a man has a body distinct from his soul is to be expunged. This I shall do by printing in the infernal method by corrosives which in hell are salutary and medicinal, melting apparent surfaces away and displaying the infinite which was him. If the doors of perception were cleansed, everything would appear to man as it is, infinite. For man has closed himself up till he sees all things through narrow chinks of his cavern. This is the chorus. Let the priests of the Raven of Dawn, no longer in deadly black, with hoarse note curse the sons of joy, nor his accepted brethren whom tyrant he calls free, lay the bound or build the roof, nor pale religious lechery call that virginity that wishes but acts not, for everything that lives is holy. Happy Dust,
Crowley.
written for Margot. Snow that fallest from heaven, bear me aloft on thy wings, to the domes of the star-girdled seven, the abode of ineffable things, quintessence of joy and of strength, that abolishing future and past, makest the present and infinite length, my soul all one with the vast, the lone, the unknown, nor dream, no spirit that wantons or weeps, no thought in its silence supreme. I sit and am utterly still. In mine eyes is my fathomless lust, ablaze to annihilate will, to crumble my being to dust, to calcine the dust to an ash, to burn up the ash to an air, to abolish the air with a flash of the final, the fulminant flare. All this I have done and dissolved the primordial germ of my thought. I have rolled myself up and revolved the wheel of my being to naught. Is there even the memory left? That I was, that I am? It is lost. As I utter the word, I am cleft by the last swift spear of the frost. Snow, I am nothing at last. I sit and am utterly still. They are perished, the phantoms and past. They were born of my weariness will, when I craved being and form, when the consciousness cloud was a mist, precursor of stupor and storm, when I and my shadow had kissed, and brought life and brought into life all the shapes that confused the clear space with their marks, vain spectres whose vapour escapes, a whirlwind of ruinous sparks. No substance have any of these. I have dreamed them in sickness of lust, delirium born of disease. Ah, whence was the master, the must, imposed on the all? Is it true then, that something in me is subject to fate? Are there two, after all, that can be? I have brought all that is to an end, for myself am sufficient in soul. Do I trick myself now? Shall I rend once again this homologous whole? I have stripped every garment from space. I have strangled the secret of time. All being is fled from my face with motions uninhibited rhyme. Stiller and stiller I sit, till even infinity fades. 'Tis an idle, 'tis weakness of wit that breeds in inanity shades. Yet the fullness of naught I become, the deepest and steadiest naught, contains in its nature the sum of the functions of being and thought. Still as I sit and destroy all possible trace of the past, all germ of the future, nor joy nor knowledge alive at the last. It is vain, for the silence is dowered with a nature, the seed of a name, necessity fearfully flowered with the blossom of possible aim. I am necessity, scry necessity, mother of fate, and fate determines me and I have the will to create. Vast is the sphere, but it turns on itself like the pettiest star. I am the lobby that learns that all things equally are. Inscrutable nothing, the gods, the cosmos of fire and of mist, sun's atoms, the clouds, and the clouds ineluctably dare to exist. I have made the voyage of thought, the voyage of vision. I swam to the heart of the ocean of naught, from the source of the spring of I am. I know myself wholly the brother alike of the all and the one. I know that all things are each other, that their sum and their substance is none. But the knowledge itself can excel, its fullness has broken its bond. All's truth and all's falsehood as well, and what of the region beyond? So still though I sit as forever, I stab to the heart of my spine. I destroy the last seed of endeavour to seal up my soul in the shrine of silence, eternity, peace. I abandon the here and the now. I cease from the effort to cease. I absolve the dead I from its vow. I am wholly content to be dust, whether that be a mote or a star. To live and to love and to lust, acknowledge what's seen for what are. Not to care what I am, if I be whence I came, whither go, how I thrive. If my spirit be bound or be free, save as nature contrive. What I am, that I am, 'tis enough. I am part of a glorious game. Am I cast for madness or love? I am cast to esteem them the same. Am I only a dream in the sleep of some butterfly, phantom of fright, conceived who knows how or how deep in the measureless womb of the night? I imagine impossible thought, metaphysical voids that beget ideas intangible haunt to things less conceivable yet. It may be, little I reck, but assume the existence of earth. Am I born to be hanged by the neck, a curse from the hour of my birth? Am I born to abolish man's guilt, his horrible heritage, or a seed in his wantonness spilt by a jester? I care not a straw. For I understand, do what thou wilt, and that is the whole of the law. And this maxim, do as thou wilt, has obviously been interpreted many ways, but I'm most interested, I think, in the way that it came to Crowley originally as the voice of the Egyptian god Horus, channeled through his wife at the time, Rose Edith Kelly, who made it quite clear that do as thou wilt is definitely a great rule to live by, as long as you are doing what your best or your highest self wills, as long as you're aligned with a true purpose. And Crowley himself sort of turned to and away from this teaching, or this thing that had been channeled throughout his life.
Okay, so that last work that you heard her read was actually by Aleister Crowley, which nice little trivia would be he was one of the mentors of L. Ron Hubbard, the American founder of the Church of Scientology. Very interesting. Anyway, so that concludes poetry on the Plaza. Thanks for joining us at Candid Travels Texas at the University of Texas at Austin, the Harry Ransom Center. There we go, saying hi to our fans. To be or not to be, that is the question. Whether it is nobler to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, or to take arms against a sea of troubles, and by opposing, end them.